Hey, you missed a pitch deck teardown with Ramp. No problem. I'm going to jump you right into my favorite part. Talk about priorities. This is key when you're making your deck. Make sure you don't forget this. These are 4 criteria that we came up with, just generic things that we've heard investors make decisions around when evaluating a team. And we're going to ask them to allocate the $5. Let me put these dollars back here. But we'll go with Zamir. If you want to start and just tell us, if you only had $5, how would you allocate to these 4 things?
Yeah, so definitely we want them to have domain expertise. So $1 would go to the work industry. Being a serial entrepreneur is great. So another dollar would go to the failed founders. I really enjoy when startups do their customer development and discovery early and know exactly the pain points. So $2 would go to the discovery interviews. And if they have milestones, they have some traction, that's also great. So another dollar would go to the milestones.
Thank you so much. What about you, Daniel?
I tend to agree with Zamir. However, I would put $2 for failed founders. To me, it's like the history and track record here they had, so that can help them to survive in certain unprecedented situations because they already went through some problems they know how to solve, or probably at least try to solve something.
Absolutely. What about the other 3? Where are we putting them?
$1 to each.
Nice. Of the other ones. I love it. This is so helpful. And what about you, Rajiv?
Sorry. Yeah. Let's go with, I would do $2 on failed founder for the reason that oftentimes you now know what doesn't work, and that's a lot of times more valuable than knowing what does work. $2 on 100 discovery interviews because you are going off of actual insight and not just conjecture. I'll put $1 on known milestone completion because you've done something about those 100 discovery interviews. And I intentionally said nothing on industry leader because you can work at a Google or an Uber and have had no meaningful impact there. Right? You could have the name on the resume, but it doesn't mean you actually did something of merit. And I also think that tends to skew towards by nature, it ends up skewing towards a smaller subset of the overall population based on just access to certain jobs. So I think it's more impressive if you've been doing what you've been doing in different ways throughout your life, regardless of who it was at.
This is so helpful. Every time I learn something. So thank you so much. We're going to go light speed to the next section before we get to the actual decks of the 5 companies that we selected. We had a bunch of great decks that were submitted. So here we go. First, the heart behind this was I used to be an associate at a fund called Mighty Capital and reviewed about 500 pitches. And at the end of it, the founder would pitch in the Zoom room, and then they would leave the Zoom room feeling like, oh my goodness, like I killed it. This is awesome. But then they would get this message from me. This is literally the exact message. It's a bit too early for us. Check in later, leaving them feeling like this. So our heart behind this whole pitch deck teardown series is for you to know what VCs are saying about you behind your back. And I've prepped the panel to be as harsh as possible. So please don't get offended. Know that it's all in love and it's all just to help you grow. But these are the things that they're most likely VCs are thinking about you, but aren't saying, or maybe they're saying something lighter, like, oh, it's not that bad, but really it is. So this is a panel that's going to help you get to that truth. If you wait till the end, we also have a deck template of a founder that raised about $5.5 million and was willing to let us share the exact deck template that they used. It's one of the best ones that I've seen. So if you wait till the end, we'll share that link at the end. But before we get to go to the actual decks, I want to do a shout out to our amazing partner, Ramp. And Emily, if you want to share just about the startup offer.
Hello. Thank you for having me. And we are so excited for this panel. A little bit about Ramp. So Ramp is a corporate card and spend management platform that will help you simplify your finances. On average, we save our customers an average of 3.5%, and our customers are also able to close their books 8 times faster. To qualify for RAMP, you must be incorporated and run most of your operations in the United States, and you have to have $75,000 in cash. After this session, we will be sending out a follow-up email, so that will have the link to sign up. So excited for this.
Thank you so much, Emily. And now Kinetic. This is a lesser known partner, but I was really excited when I talked to Chris. So Chris, you want to do a shout out?
Yeah, thank you so much, Adam and Kayla and the Zendesk team for having us. So my name is Chris. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Kinetic. You know, I'm looking at this, and I wish I had this 6 months ago or a year ago. And so I'm a little jealous that I could have saved myself a ton of time and heartache in the process. But anyways, what we do at Kinetic is we partner with startup communities, including Launch Minnesota and Startup Wisconsin, connecting key members at the right place at the right time. So by curating highly aligned talks among members within these ecosystems who are founders, investors, corporate champions, we can actually accelerate not only the progress for those members and their ventures, but also the relationships in those ecosystems. So to date, we've helped members find others that turned into their co-founders, talked with angel investors that have cut checks into their early stage companies. And I think most importantly, that gets me really excited is we're helping even level the playing field and helping make who you know equitable. So check us out, joinkinetic.com, and I'll drop a link in the chat.
Thank you so much, Chris. Definitely check that out. And of course, Zendesk, we're a customer support platform. You've probably heard of this. We've had some of these cool former startups that joined us, a lot of them in the early days. We, operate among a really competitive area, but as you can see, we're at the top. But I want to do this shout out as a former founder myself. One of the coolest things that I saw about the Zendesk for Startups program is our community. And to just share that, the Greg Geibel leads our community at Zendesk. Wanted him to do a shout out.
Hey, Adam. Thank you so much for inviting me to join. So I've got our dream job here, my dream job, building our startup community here at Zendesk. We've got our guiding principles of learning, friendship, and fun. Those principles ultimately enable our values of humble, kind, grateful, and grit. And then those values lead to authentic relationships where alacrity is valued, and alacrity is simply a cheerful willingness to help others. So, whether it's, IRL at Meetup, whether it's through kind of our Slack community, we're here to help. The more the merrier, and can't wait to see some more folks join this afternoon. Thanks again, Adam.
Thank you so much, Greg. So let's get right to it. We had a bunch of incredible decks that were submitted. We selected 5. I'm the one who selected it. So if you have a problem with that, reach out to me. But I want to now officially introduce our panel. So if you want to just go from left to right, just give a quick overview of what your investment experience, of course, and yourself.
All right. So I guess I start, right?
Yep.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. Really appreciate it. It's so exciting. I'm the founder of Go Global World, and I'm in venture capital since 2013 when I moved to the Bay Area. And so I'm myself an angel investor. I invest with 25 to 50K. And my main goal is actually companies with traction in the United States. I'm industry agnostic. However, my network of investors is quite broad. We have a lot of VC in our network. So it's just, we're talking about thousands of people, and they invest from 500 to 15 million, and they are from all kinds of verticals. So me and my team, we have a lot of experience in venture capital. So definitely happy to share our expertise and experience in here.
Welcome. So glad you're here. What about you, Zamir?
Yeah, thank you, Adam, for inviting me. My name is Zamir Shukho. I'm a GP of Vibranium VC Venture Fund. We are a Silicon Valley-based seed stage fund. We invest in B2B SaaS. We are also industry agnostic as long as you work with B2B and software. We invest up to $500,000 in the seed stage, and then we can follow on Series A up to 1.5 million. I've been in the business for over 10 years. My team previously has built different acceleration programs, education for entrepreneurs, startups, and I personally mentored several hundred startups throughout these years. So I've done a lot of pitching, and I've reviewed a lot of pitch decks. So happy to share that today.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks. My name is Rajiv Nathan, aka Raj Nation. I'm the founder and the chief pitch artist of Startup Hype Man. We are not an investment firm, but what we do is help attack the problem that I call rush hour syndrome. If you've seen the movie Rush Hour, where Chris Tucker says, "Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?" That's how it feels like for a lot of founders. So our job is to work alongside them and help these founders and these startups not suck at how they pitch themselves so they can attract investors, raise capital, and go to market. We've worked on tons of pitches. We work on several every week. We also recently launched an online founder community called the Goat to Market Club. And coming soon as well, I'm also a rapper. We're dropping the first ever startup hip hop album called Goat to Market. So be on the lookout on your Spotify feeds for that.
Raj, so glad you're here with us. And I know you're going to bring a really unique example. So I'm super excited. And I know we're doing an event together later in Q3. So just be on the lookout for that as well. Okay, let's go. So we're going to take the team slides first. Of the 5 decks, we have I took the team slides from each of those, and we're going to share those for 10 seconds each. And the panel is going to review it. And just, if you want to write down any notes as I show each one for the 10 seconds panel. And then after that, just feel free to share. You don't have to go to every single one of them, but whatever ones that kind of stuck out, good and bad on both sides. But the more authentic and harsh, the better. Here we go. 10 seconds. Okay. 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 Last one. Okay. Who wants to go first? And just tell me where to go. I can dance around.
I can start if you guys want. I personally prefer this slide that was a lucky team, something the previous one. That was to me most prepared in my opinion, because the previous ones, there were too many people. They focus a lot on advisors and maybe some investors. And so to me, I want to see the team who will be actually on it to deliver on the promise of what they're trying, or the problem they're trying to solve. And I want to see their key achievements and competences that will prove that they will be the ones actually to be the best to actually deliver on that. So all others to me less relevant than the founding team. And I want to know everything about them before actually giving them up.
Mm.
So I can go one by one shortly. Is this the first one?
Yep.
So I think what I didn't really like about this, just from the visual standpoint, all the pictures are different sizes. Somebody's face is bigger than there's like almost a full body picture. I think they should be aligned a little bit better. Design wise, it's okay, but I cannot differentiate where the team is here. It's really hard to understand who's doing what, like the roles, because there's an advisory right here on the right side. So most of these people are advisors and mentors, right? And that kind of overwhelms the slide. Like you told me more about the advisors, kind of putting them in the front, like saying, hey, these are very significant people, but they took up 2/3 of the slide. I think the focus should be on the core team, and an advisor should be, if it's necessary, but not taking up so much space. Then we can go to the next slide. So here, I think the design itself is bad. Pictures are all different. Text is all over the place, different fonts. That's why it's kind of hard to understand right away. So I would definitely realign everything here. And again, you know, they have the roles, but again, it's kind of blending what the role in the current company is and what their past experience is. So I would definitely try to kind of highlight, this is my role here now, and this is my past experience. Because if you can just mash everything in a text like this, it's really hard to understand. We can go to the next slide. This one was just too much information, too small. You can't really see well, you know, depending, of course, on the size of the screen that you're viewing. But I think having like 11 people on a slide, that's too much. I would definitely cut somebody out. The way information is put, very brief. So maybe fewer people, little more information, like few bullet points on each one of them, but not that many people. The next one, this I would agree with Daniil that this was the most clean slide out of all of them. Pretty much nothing to add. Design-wise, you know, photos the same. Even the brick walls are, you know, so they did a good job here. And they even put the logos on the bottom. Yeah, the last one. I'm missing, you know, I do like to see few logos of significant companies they worked with or they worked for, if they did. So that's something I'm missing here. And for me, it's just the, you know, the design thing, you know, it just doesn't cut it. I didn't like that.
Yeah. But before Raj goes, I want to just ask a specific question around advisors, because you see it like some people are putting their advisors almost like they're visually, it looks like they're equal to their team. What is that feeling that you get when you see this many advisors on a slide like this?
Many advisors is not bad. I mean, the more advisors the CEO has in the founding team, the better, right? They have more expertise to reach out to, but I would not put them as equals to the team for sure, even though they can be significant experts in their fields, but their role in the companies is very minor. I mean, they meet with you once a month for 1 hour to drink coffee, right? So they should be somewhere, but probably smaller pictures, probably lesser space on the slide. Just if you just want to kind of feed off of their fame, you know, that's okay, and prove that these people, experts, are believing in you as well by putting their name on your presentation, you know, being your advisors. That's okay when you're in early stage, but again, your team is the most important here, not the advisors.
That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah.
Can I add just quickly? I absolutely agree with Zamir. When I talk to founders, I say like at least 60% of the slides should be taken by the founding team, not the team and the advisors, but by the founding team. And in the end of the day, the advisors and mentors, if they some of them have equity, it would be like minor equity. We want to see those who has the most equity, what these people are and what they will do. So if you're hiding them, it's like the advisors would do the job, but the fact is absolutely the opposite.
Super helpful. And Raj, one more time before you go, we had someone raise their hand and I just want to give them a chance to talk. I don't know if it's someone from there, but we have Luis, just allowed you to talk. If you have something around this topic, would love to hear it.
Oh yeah, guys. Oh, thank you very much for the opportunity, Adam. I am actually the CEO of the company, but that's the it's just that we have another slice of the management team of the CEO, the COO, and the CTO. So
and which company is this?
Musicin Lab.
Oh, yes, great.
Yes, you put the slides of the advisors, you know. It's just
got it. So you're saying I put the wrong slide.
Exactly.
Okay, there we go. The truth comes out. Everyone pile it on me here. I'm really sorry about that.
No worry.
Well, thank you for raising your hand.
It's just that we have 2 slides, one of advisors and mentors and one of the management teams, you know.
Well, thank you for providing some good content. I own that one. Everyone check out them.
Yeah, don't worry, don't worry.
I'll put you back. Thank you, Raj. You want to go and help redeem me there?
Yeah, so go over to Lucky Sweater.
Okay.
I think we're all in alignment that this is the winner of the ones that we saw. Maybe Muse would, if we had the right slide, would beat us, but I just think based on what I'm seeing here, Lucky Sweater would probably be the winner. Here's why this works really well. Visually, it's clean, and we know where our eyes should go first, right? It's very hard to see this and not go straight to we're leaders in community, product, startup, building, and more. And then from there, there's like a natural hierarchy of information, right? Then you go down to the person, their title, and then what they're responsible for and their experience. And the spacing works really well. But what I want to like just double click on that works really well here as well, aside from the visual of it, and a couple of the slides did this, not all, but Lucky Sweater did it the best. And this is advice I have for every founder for every single slide you have in your deck. And this, I'm sure this will come up again later on in today's conversation. Do not waste real estate with neutral slide headers, right? When I say neutral slide header, if you go over to Navisense, it just says team. That's neutral. Whoever's viewing this decides what they want about your presentation, about this information. Now go back to Lucky Sweater. When you read, we're leaders in community, product, startup, building, and more, are you still capable of having your own thoughts? Yes. But are you now is your starting point, oh, these people are leaders in these 3 categories. Let my brain now filter the information through that lens. You can't fight that, right? So use your slide headers to help tell the story that is supposed to be told here. And that's what the only thing they missed is, I don't know anything about what this company does, but maybe they could have had their headshots where they all have their own personal Lucky Sweater on that they're wearing.
I love the honesty, the harshness. Thank you so much. Hopefully no one is offended. This company, like, awesome stuff overall, but just great advice. So helpful. So we'll go. We have one question. Someone who's raised their hand. I'm going to go ahead and allow them to talk. You are live.
Hi. Hi, do you hear me?
Yes, we can. Can you tell us the company you're with and your question?
I'm the CEO of greenercoin.io. I just because I did have a big story with the pitch deck, but anyway, so I wanted to ask, like, for the team, you should have, for example, the founding team and the other team, like, for example, in the annex or something like this. The rest of the team, I mean.
So you're asking, you want? Can you rephrase the question? Yeah.
Okay. Sorry for my English. So I wanted to ask, for example, when you send a pitch deck, on the team slide, you need to put only the founders, and for example, the rest of the team, you can put it like in the annex or something, like later on, like you can see it later. If I did understand the concept.
So I can give you my opinion. Typically, I like to see the founding team to be with headshots and with their roles and with their experience. And if there's 10 more people, usually you can write like plus 10 more, like 10 team members, and you can highlight, if developers, marketing, whatever, but like one line on the bottom, just to let us know how big your team is. But for the headshots, it's just the founding team, the co-founders is good enough on the slide.
And I would add that you can have several slides of the team, but it's up to you. But really, investors really care about the founding team. So if you don't put your advisors and especially the rest of the team, it doesn't change anything. Investors want to see. We want to see the team who will be executing the founding team. That's the main thing we want to see. The rest is just an additional thing that you try to sell, but be careful, don't overwhelm. So you always can put it in the some supporting slides, but it's not really something super priority. 20% of the effort will come from the founding team to give you 80% of the result.
I generally think advisors should be an appendix slide, or like if you were to take the format, like go back to Lucky Sweater for a second. Like the other format you could take is like, see all those logos at the bottom, if they just put advisors from companies include, and you basically just show what companies are they from. But I think who's actually executing on this is more important than anything else. Then unless you have some huge banner name, like if you're a sports tech company and LeBron James is an advisor, that may be a case where you put LeBron James' photo and give him some real estate.
That's super helpful. So we have 2 more questions. We don't have to answer them. We usually don't, but I think it's helpful because I love these relevant questions around the team slide. So if it's not about that, then we'll change it. But I'm going to allow Nicholas to go live right now. Nicholas, you are live.
Hi guys. I'm from Electron Motors. My deck's not there, but I just had this question. I'm 23 years old and I don't have much experience in the job market. How would I go about adding my experience? How relevant is it? What would you recommend for me in my presentation?
I can start with that one. This is where your own storytelling is going to come through a lot. You can, through other parts of your presentation, I'll say that first, you can make up for your own lack of experience by your own awareness of the market itself and the way and the intelligence level at which you speak about trends that are happening, how you understand your target audience, things like that. And then when speaking about your own personal experience, this is where, it may not necessarily, maybe you have a bullet point that hints at this on the slide, but if you can tell a micro story about how the way you, like what you're building is actually just an extension of the way your brain works. So that way it's not some like cute thing that you're going to give up on in a year. That can go a long way towards helping someone else see. I know he doesn't have the background for this, or he doesn't have the formal professional background for this, but he's been doing something like this for a long time, right? So figure out like what are the different things, and this is an example I'll give you from a company we worked with a few years ago. He did have a reputable like professional experience, but what he focused on was explaining how data is all he's ever thought about, and it was a data company going back to in the 1990s, or excuse me, when he was 13 years old, his grandfather took him to the horse racing track, and he literally sat there with a notebook drawing out predictive models, and he had to be removed from the track because he was 13 years old and won a bunch of money and couldn't be gambling. And then later on, he got kicked out of his first fantasy baseball league because he built out on an Excel spreadsheet. Like he moneyballed the system in fantasy baseball. And his league mates kicked him out because he dominated so bad or so incredibly. And all of these are just ways that prove this is all he's ever known, and this is all he's ever cared about. So what he's doing now with his company is it's an extension of how he operates by default.
So good. Go ahead.
I can add to that it's okay to be the first-time founder. Every one of us at some point was first-time founder, but you have to know your weaknesses and you have to be like upfront about them. So you can say actually during a pitch that, hey, this is my first startup. I have such and such expertise. I have such and such education. I've done this work. I know this market. I know the problem. And this is where the advisory board, the mentors, and other team members, other co-founding team members would come into the game, adding to your weaknesses. So you can say, hey, I'm really good at this. And yes, I'm not a serial entrepreneur. So, we all understand that I'm a first-time founder and I ask you to bet on me investing into my startup, but I have such and such advisors, I go to them. I'm very open to feedback. So you're kind of reassuring the investors that you are there to learn quickly. And if you do make mistakes, you will correct them. And you have enough, open-mindedness about, hey, I got a bunch of advisors. I will go to them to ask questions before I make any serious steps. And they will back me up, with their knowledge and expertise.
This is amazing. And but just for time's sake, I want us to jump to the solution slide, but thank you for the questions. Ricardo, I know you have your hand raised. We might be able to get to you later, but we're going to keep moving for time's sake. So solution slide, here we go. 10 seconds each. Two more. Okay. Who wants to go first?
I can start with the worst slide, I think. So if you go back 2 slides, this one was disturbing to me. First of all, there's a lot of very small screenshots of Excel spreadsheets and something that you can't even read that. So it's just garbage. You know, you don't need to put that information there, please. Don't put screenshots of Excel spreadsheets and small things that you cannot even read. It just doesn't make any sense. Second, all of these abbreviations, the ECB, FED, MAS, whatever the professional abbreviations you guys know in your market, I don't know as an investor. Whenever you put these 3-letter abbreviations, you confuse everybody. So please don't, you know, it's just not helpful information at all. If I'm not an expert in this field, which I'm not, I'm a VC, right? So it will take a lot of explanation. So your slide should not be creating more questions. Your slide should be explaining what you do. When I look at slide like this, it creates more questions for me, like what the hell is the solution? So that would be like the couple of things about this particular slide that I wanted to highlight. And if you go back, there was, on a second slide. Yeah, here, so the graphics wasn't really cutting it for me. So really hard to understand what the product actually is, what is the interface of the product. Like if you wanted to show some customer journey through your product, it didn't really work out here. So, you know, sometimes they're pretty clean, like step 1, step 2, step 3, which is, you know, we have an example here, the sweater guys. I think that's what they showed. You know, they showed like real screenshots of their mobile app explaining, you know, what their solution does step by step. And I think that's probably the best approach you can take to you visualize, you know, what you're doing, and you kind of explain very briefly how the product is solving the problem. So that's my feedback for now.
Super helpful.
I can go next if I can. So all my love and support to Lucky Sweater as well. So it's just probably the right slide to do as a good example. So what I like about this slide, it's a clear message of what it does, what it gives as a solution. But more than that, the guys show the screens of the product, because at the end of the day, I want to see not only the message, but also how it would solve really, like put me closer to the product. Let me touch it, I would say. So, and with this, I see 3 screens. You shouldn't put more. 3 is more than enough. And on top, it's very simple explanations of what every step does. So it makes me it makes it clear for me what it does. And if you go back to some slides, I just can criticize a little bit. So this one, I absolutely agree. So schemas, small text, it's something makes my brain think, trying to figure out. So don't make my brain think. I want this to be a like obvious solution. So it definitely not obvious. More than that, some recommendation for founders. Show this slide, solution slide, or many other slides as well, to someone outside your industry and outside venture capital, and without the expertise in this field, and give them 30 seconds and see if they get to this aha moments, like, oh, this is really makes sense for them after within 30 seconds. Then your slide works. It's obvious, it's clear, and people even outside your industry without any expertise understand it. So definitely make it simple, put less text, and keep large visualizations, large font, I would call it like that. If you go to the next one, this one, totally agree with Zamir about the picture, so it doesn't make me clear what it does. So looking nice, but doesn't make me understanding this. So to me, I'm a little frustrated with the text on top. It's different colors, and below as well, like it just, I see the same company again. Maybe I wouldn't use the company name second time. I would just we provides or it provides. I don't know, the shorter the better, so let me get it fast. So it doesn't let me get it fast. I don't know within a few seconds what exactly to be done here, but what I like about this slide, it's definitely not overwhelmed with information, so it's a good thing. Just maybe tweak it a little bit to make it more logical, so my brain can follow with this. And next one.
I want to just say that this was a GIF, so I could not make the GIF continue to work in this system. So it was just a movement of this person doing that. So keep that in mind.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. That may distract me from the text here. I don't like that it covers the face of the person, so it makes me wonder. I don't know. That's the first thought. Like, the guys didn't design on basic things, so the solution work covers the face of the person. So I think it's just minor thing, but I mean, to make it clean, it doesn't help. And here the text is just, I mean, I will read it, and it will take some time. I will keep it shorter. It just maybe twice shorter. Otherwise, while listening and reading, you may get me lost somewhere. Either I might not understand the founder, what they mean.
Very long sentence. The value proposition is way too long. I mean, it's not clear at all. Like, what is it that they're doing? Is it the VR glasses? Is it the content? I'm not. You have to really read it like 3-4 times, and then digest it before you understand what it is.
Ask ChatGPT to make one line out of this, so maybe to come up with a solution.
Solution mic drop. I love it. What about you, Raj?
Well, to that point, this is I just did a quick count. This is a 51-word sentence. It's a single sentence, and it is 51 words. That's a long ass sentence. So can you parse out that? I mean, first off, trim the amount of text, but then can you parse it out across the slide in different chunks, right? Immersive learning platform, practice and interact in real, with a virtual band in real time. Don't get hung up on, is it a band or an orchestra? Like, we're all gonna, for us I guess I am a musician, but for enough non-musicians, they're not gonna be like, oh, is it for orchestras too, or just for bands? Everyone's gonna think of that as the same kind of word. And here's where it gets interesting with how you choose to choose your verbiage. Is it a platform or is it a tool? Because this says it's a platform, and then it says an ed tech tool underneath that. So pick one thing that you are and run with that, but don't literally in the same sentence be multiple different ways of describing what you are.
And it's also a powerful marketing instrument. So it's an instrument or a tool or a platform. So you're like,
and that's a poor use of instrument, I would say, because there's actually unless it's a cheeky pun, but if it is, it's not coming across, because I think they mean instrument as vehicle, not instrument as guitar, but it is actually an instrument that they have. Like a guitar is what he has. So that's my thoughts there. I thought the confirm you one, I think it's very clean. I was not at all hung up on the Daniel. I think we'll differ there. I wasn't hung up at all on the inverse color scheme. That just seems to be on brand for them. and it's separating header from body text. I think maybe the graphics could be a little bit better. It's not that undecipherable though, and I think like if you take this versus the other slide, they got more across in 2 short sentences, and I don't know, maybe a combined 25 words in 2 sentences than the previous slide that had 51 words in a single sentence. Can you go to the next one for me? Yeah, I think this is the consensus, like makes my head brain it makes my head hurt, it makes my heart hurt, it makes my brain overwhelmed. Just way too much going on here. And I'll come back to this time and time again. Where do you want people to look? Because in this current format, it's not clear where you want us to look first, second, and third. There's just so many things happening. So think about your information hierarchy. Lucky Sweater, I thought it was pretty good about this. Yeah, I think this does a fine job of stuff like that. And then the next one too, I thought, like, I love if you can just be really simple introducing it for the first time. You can always say a little bit more on a second slide, but like, remember, people, like, you got to get across like essentially one piece of information per slide. And the more you try to pack into a single slide, the less people are going to remember and the more they're going to be confused. So this is really simple. You know, we're revolutionizing the travel community in a single platform, bookable user-generated videos and AI-powered itineraries. All right, I think that seems fair enough. The next slide would probably share more about what they mean by that.
I would not do 3 screenshots here for this slide. I like the text; it's clean and short.
Good point.
But the 3 visuals are a bit confusing. It's just I'm not sure what they're trying to show me with these 3 visuals.
Yeah, you could actually take that slide, bump down introducing Navi Savvy to the middle, cut out the screenshots, and have the explainer text underneath.
Yeah. And if you go back to this long sentence slide.
We're coming back here.
What I would do here, sometimes it's hard to phrase it well and short. So when I do customer development, I would just talk to the users, see how they explain me this problem they're trying to solve for themselves. And based on how they explain, I take their phrases and put it in here in solution with their own words. So they will understand me better because it's their own language, not I came up, they came up with that.
Yeah, that's really good. We just had a question. Is it necessary to show the product screenshots in the solution slide? So I know we just
I don't think it's necessary. It's going to depend on what your product is, but as a blanket rule, I don't think it's 100% necessary.
It's not. I would agree that it's not necessary unless your product is really design driven and really visual. You know, whenever you doing something for, like, I don't know, for artists or for somebody else, and you have a really cool visual design of your product. If you're doing another CRM platform, I mean, you're going to show me just white and blue screen with the menu on the left and something in the that's pretty common. I mean, you don't have to do that. But I just like seeing the product. So whenever there is something nice to show, you can do a screenshot.
So good.
The solution something that's it can be just a phrase, and it has to really be a clue of the problem you're trying to solve. So there is a question how you solve. This is the solution, right? And if you show the product here, great. If it really design wise, like here in Lucky, it makes sense. But sometimes products are complex, and sometimes you need more space to explain it in a better way. So there is a second slide called how it works, and probably on the second slide you can show it. For some solutions, there is a show the flow of a few screens or maybe a video to make really clear within a few seconds or maybe up to 30 seconds.
I would add here, if you have a physical product, if you have a device, a wearable, some kind of IoT, something that has to be installed somewhere, that should be probably shown. to make more sense. Say, hey, we have a device, you install it here, then you add a software layer to it, etc. So yeah,
it's so helpful. Going on to the next thing is traction, and keep this in mind. We just had someone ask a question: what is the best way you would want to view slides on numbers, like charts, data in a pitch deck? So that usually is displayed in the traction slide. So we'll show these traction slides, and then the panel can consider that as they answer it. So here we go. 10 seconds. Okay. Two more. Okay. I wish we could have record. I wish we just recorded like your faces as you're like reading each slide. We are. So maybe that's what we should do. Thank you, sir.
And then you analyze the expressions, right, on the faces too. Like the investors look confused.
Awesome. Who wants to go?
I'll let Raj go first this way.
Sure. So this one's interesting, right? Because nothing is jumping out to me out of these that was like, oh, that's the one. There's some that are doing it better than others, but like, I think overall across all of these, except with the exception of spin, which was just three bullet points as check marks, which I think, like, I'll just say this, like everything I've seen so far out of this deck screams PowerPoint clip art. Like that's like the standard, like that's Calibri font, right? That's the default you get when you open up any Microsoft document or file. This is like, this is the lowest grade of using PowerPoint I think that exists, or like the lowest like utilization of PowerPoint that could exist. So I would, and there's not necessarily even like consistent, it's two checks, it's an arrow, and it's a box. I don't know what one is supposed to mean versus the other, or if that was by accident.
I guess the check is what they completed.
Oh, sure. Okay. And then current phase,
the arrow is what they're here. Yeah. And that one is where they should put the check, the growth phase.
Another example where a slide header can help us understand what to do with the information, right? Like if I'm going to make this up, what if you said, we secured a patent 5 years ahead of schedule, something like that, right? That's more like that now tells us what to do with the information on the slide, and we feel better about it. For the other ones though, like, I thought, go to the spin one.
Okay.
Or sorry, not spin, lucky sweater, my bad.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are 12 different data points, not counting the two charts on the screen. And I cannot stress this enough. Like, I know you've got like great numbers and things like that, but you're not going to be randomly the one where our brains just start working differently for, right? Like we can only take in so much information at a single time. I do like how they highlighted 35% plus retention over 120 days. You probably can make this entire slide just what's in the left box. Everything else can be appendix, or you can talk about these other things without necessarily having to show them. But I think 35% retention is the banner thing here, and just focus on that. The other one, let's go to the next one.
This one,
Navi. Yeah, this one, like, it's too much to have on a single slide. I think a good way to approach this is, what is your number one metric you are focused on, and build your slide around that. Like, are you right now focused on partnership development? Then build your slide around that traction metric. Are you focused on users? Then do that, right? Show the things that make sense for what you're focused on, and Everything else is secondary or appendix.
Mm.
I'll stop. And then there's more I could say, but that's the gist of what I would focus on.
Super helpful.
I can go next. So let's scroll back to the very first one. I'll try to knock them out one by one. So whenever we see a traction slide, we definitely like to see milestones and most relevant business metrics that are there. So for me, the most relevant business metric is your revenues, or anything with dollar amounts, right? So if you have anything with dollar amounts, like whenever you say LOI, so 13 letters of intent doesn't give me anything, but 13 letters of intent where the total sum of potential contracts is, $500,000, that's better. I at least understand what those letters of intent are about. We're willing to do a pilot with you. We're willing to buy something from you when you're ready, etc. So you kind of gotta give me a little more, financial information here. And again, whenever you say, okay, 4,500 students, 300 teachers, 6 countries, I don't understand if this is good or bad right now, because you're not comparing this to anything, or you're not showing me how you managed to get the 4,500 students. Let's say you did this in 3 months. Oh, this is great. So you kind of say, hey, we had 500, then we added 1,500, then we added, another 2,000. So there you go. So I can see the traction. You're not showing me traction here. You're showing me like, this is what I have now. You're not showing me how you grew into this. If you're pre-revenue, you gotta show me how you grew into this. You don't have sales yet, but look how quickly I'm generating users, how quickly I'm onboarding teachers. This is a marketplace, I'm guessing, like there's students and teachers. Okay, so that's that. And again, if you're doing 6 countries when you're pre-revenue, this is bad. You're not focused. You're out there doing too many things at the same time. Geographically, you should not be doing 6 countries when you're pre-revenue. So please think about it as well. We can go to the next slide. Here, so the whole bottom piece of the slide is trash. All these logos of these companies that we don't even know who are they. It doesn't matter. Like it doesn't give you any more credibility. I call this a graveyard of logos. Sometimes I can see the full slide of logos just saying, we have many customers, and there's a bunch of logos. I'm like, oh my God, why? Just give me the number of the customers. And if you want to talk about their size, say 3 enterprise customers, 20 SMEs, 2 governments. That's good enough. I don't need their logos. Can you sure, go ahead.
I think what's important I'm only now seeing there's a thing at the bottom that says blurred logos are covered by NDA. There's got to be a way better way to like, that's fine. You can be under NDA. We're not saying post public information that shouldn't be public, but this looks like something that was pulled out of like a different deck and just dropped in here. Like there's a different way to visually show that versus what appears to be like a computer graphics error from like 1998 at that.
I will add something important. Whenever you're trying to show traction, please don't use vanity metrics. Please don't use numbers like, we've signed clients with access to $1 billion, like 1 billion borrowers in total. Like that's a vanity metric that has nothing to do with you or your achievements, really. Or 1 trillion assets under management. Like, again, what does that tell me about you and your business? Well, yeah, you've reached some high clients, okay, but again, no, it doesn't matter if they have 2 trillion or 1 trillion or half a trillion. It doesn't explain to me your traction, really, unfortunately. So please try to avoid vanity metrics, things that are not important and not relevant, because you can show only few things on a slide. Focus on yourself, focus on your achievements, and what you've done through a period of time. We can go to the next slide. I'll go quickly. Yeah.
Zamir, if you're okay with it, because we have 5 minutes left and we still have to get to the race slide, I'm going to just let Daniil, you want to say something about these, and then thank you so much. I love this.
Absolutely. It's hard to disagree with the guys. With this slide, if you're on it, I would just say somebody is playing with my brain, and I feel like I trust less to this team now after seeing this, because you are like showing me someone's achievement, but you don't want to show me yours. And like, okay, but if I saw your real numbers, like you probably don't have sales, and you honestly say that, but you've done something else, I trust you more than $1 billion or $1 trillion in here, because I know it's not your money and it's not your achievement. It's so obvious. And this slide is just over complicated. To be short, if Muse and Lucky had a slide together, that would be probably a perfect slide. So how Muse slide is looking is nice, clean, and the data helps me to like digest it fast. It doesn't explain their achievement, and the guys criticize that. So if you go back to a Lucky slide, as Raj says, this first part was retention, this left part should be the main part, how Muse has done it. And these charts, they also show some traction, that put them in your backup slides. You will show them later if you have more questions, because you should put something up in the front, like a core message you want to deliver with this slide. So my brain will remember this, but right now, how I see it, it's too much information. I definitely have to like make my brain think, which is hard.
So helpful. Thank you so much. We have I want to honor the time for everyone, so we will be ending in 2 minutes and 30 seconds. But let's pick one of the race slides to talk about, and just like as you're looking at this is Lucky Sweaters. As you're looking at it, what are you thinking?
What are they raising, and how much have they raised before? I'm not seeing any ask. They're showing me their previous investors, which is okay. But that typically is not the slide I want to see when it comes to raise.
It's absolutely a different slide for other purpose. Definitely doesn't speak at all about raise. So we want to see the number, how much raising, what capitalization, what money you want to use for, so use of funds or something like that. Talk to me about that, not about these people.
Raj, I'm going to give you another one. Can I give you this one? As you
go for it.
Just throw
seed around. Okay, here's advice I'll give every startup, and I actually am very curious to hear if Zamir and Daniil will agree with this once they hear it. Yes, how you're going to spend the money is important, but it's not the most important thing. It's what will you do with the money once you raise it. So they have goal 2 million net revenue and scale up marketing. Basically, I think in Ask slide, they did this partially, but not all the way. It should be, how much do you want and what milestones will that help you achieve? That's the most important thing. It's like, hey, I need your money so we can achieve these things. Not, I need your money so we can spend on these, so we can spend 500K of it on marketing, right? So flip how you're thinking about it. It's not use of funds, it's results of funds.
Super helpful. We literally have 30 seconds left. I just want to say thank you so much, panel. This was so much fun. The authenticity was full here, and I love it. I know this is helpful for founders. We just put it in the link in the chat, that deck template, for anyone who wants to check it out. This is a really cool company. That founder once again said that we could use their deck template so you can have a good starting point for what you're working on. We have 10 seconds because we care about time, and I know y'all are all busy. Panel, once again, thank you. Check out Ramp, check out Kinetic, and check out Zendesk. Boom.
So much.
Thanks everyone.